And
We'll
crank up the
crank the
heat
heat,
and blast some
lullabies.
lullabies.
Oh, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the outs, or the house burns down.
Welcome back to the Red Right Hand Podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of the Peaky Blinders. I'm Josh,
And I'm Curtis.
and give us those dates. Give us those dates you have.
Season 6 premieres on BBC. That's if you're in the UK. No Americans allowed. February 27th. I have no
That
clue
can't be
what
true.
time though. What do you mean?
You can watch BBC here.
Yeah, it's called BBC America.
Are they not showing it on there?
No, I looked. They're not showing it on
Oh,
there. Yeah.
so we are going to be forced to wait until April.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Unless
really
you
thought
just
we were
want
going
to
to have a choice here.
No, unless you just want to read about it on the articles online from, the journalist.
No,
But anyway,
no.
season 6 premieres if you're in the UK, or I don't know about other countries besides America, but in the UK, you lucky bastards. February 27th,
It's
BBC
going to be
One.
next Sunday.
But if for everybody else on Netflix, April 1st. And I hope that's not a joke on us all. I hope it really is April 1st.
That's suspect. It's a little suspect.
Yeah. TBD, April 1st.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Just got to make sure that if you're not already caught up to here, I guess if you're not caught up to here, you probably won't be hearing us implore you to watch those episodes a little faster. But
can you hear me from episode 1, season 1?
It'll echo throughout the episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
But you just want to make sure that you're all caught up, and or you just got a good refresher on for those last couple episodes. I didn't remember most of the stuff that happened in this episode, so
It started coming back to me. I mean, I kind of have a grasp of what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes, but I just didn't remember order. And then there were a few things was oh yeah, I forgot that happens here and that happens there. So
I really can't remember what happens next episode.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And I think actually rewatching this episode, I think I've figured out who done it in the end of season 5. And I don't know, it's weird because I don't know how I never noticed this one little detail, as this is my 3rd time going through this season, watching this season, and I didn't realize this one little detail until they said it, and I was like, oh snap, okay. Which I already had a theory when we started this season on who I thought done it at the end of this next episode. But,
who done it?
I think, yeah, who done it? But I think this episode kind of gave me a little more confidence in my theory. So, and I'll talk about that when we get to it.
Cool. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, so
all right,
I look forward to hearing that.
You will know.
Well, the episode starts out and we pick up where we left off at the end of the last episode. At the end of the last episode, Linda showed up at the party that Tommy was hosting at his house, and she tried to shoot Arthur, but Polly shot her instead. I didn't notice at the time, but Polly says that she just used her Derringer. So,
it was
not
bruise.
as serious as they're making it out to be.
Just a flesh wound.
What?
It's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound. So they bring Linda inside, they dig the bullet out, and Tommy puts her to sleep, basically. I don't know what he gave her, I didn't see.
It was opium.
But, okay.
I think it was, yeah. I think it may have been mixed with a drink too. My favorite part of this scene though is it's a weird transition. It's in all the chaos of them like trying to, take the bullet out and then try to like calm her down, then put her to sleep for a little bit, which is like one big long shot. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's one single shot moving around everything. But it's like in the middle of all that, all of a sudden, Polly's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm getting married." And Tommy's like, "Oh, you're getting married?" It's like change of pace. All of a sudden, it's like, should we really be talking about
it's just
this right
super
this second?
casual.
Yeah, it was so weird, and I laugh every time I see that part. I don't know why. It's just kind of funny to me. It's like, should we really be talking about this right now? But I mean, she's still hurt.
Especially out of everybody in the room, the two of them don't really care.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They
she's kind of a problem for them.
Lives or dies. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mosley takes advantage of the time Tommy being away to start giving this speech. And how was the speech for you? How were you feeling about that?
Yeah, a little cringy. I mean, it's definitely crescendoing to the tip top of the mountain where he finally announces the name of the new party. And every time I hear him do that, I always think, in this scene, I always think he's going to be like, is it the British Union of Fascists? And and all that time building up to that, he was getting the crowd on his side. There was a lot of guys going, yeah, you're right, preach it, whatever. And I always feel like he gets to that point and he says that, and everybody should be like, yeah, what? You said what? What's the name?
Yeah.
Anybody else hear that? Yeah. I mean, you can tell he's got the speech for it. I mean, the ability to rally a crowd for sure. He seems like a Hitler.
Well, they borrowed like so many of Hitler's mannerisms, and I don't know if they told him to do that or he decided to do that. Yeah. But yeah, he just does a lot of the same movements, and there's like a lot of stuff that he was doing that was very like, if you've ever watched, if you watch like World War II, in color, like something like that on Netflix, like they'll show you, bits and pieces of speeches. I mean, a lot of times, ever hear like what's actually being said, but that kind of speaks to it more because you like see those movements that he makes and stuff.
Passion, and emotion. Yep. You can definitely tell Mosley's pouring everything into it. He definitely believes in what he's talking about, for sure.
Yeah. It's a tough one to get through. Like it's like you're saying, it's just super cringy. Like the whole time you're just like, oh my God, like this is awful.
Yeah. It's just like this season's pretty tough because of that aspect, of like, you got all the different stuff going on. You got the opium, you got McCavern and the Billy Boys, there's different things. And then Tommy's, visions and whatnot. And then you got the whole, Mosley and the fascist movement. And that part is just kind of like this just cringy thing that just won't go away in this series or in this season.
Yeah.
And it seems like from the trailer, we're going to have to deal with it for another season. So.
Ugh. So then Tommy and Mosley meet after his little speech. And Mosley's just going over Tommy's concessions, basically the stuff that he's about to be giving up to the Billy Boys. It's the racetracks in the north because the Billy Boys are basically going to be taking over in the north. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to find somebody suitable in the south. I guess Tommy's going to kind of run the center portion.
Yeah.
And Tommy's not happy about that.
No, you can tell he's
I mean,
he's
he's just
definitely not.
yeah, giving away things that they've fought for and earned. So
I mean, do you think there's definitely some regret showing in his face to have gotten involved in all this, don't you think?
oh my God, yes, yeah,
But at the same time, it's like you're in too deep, so you can't go back now. And
yeah.
he knows that.
No,
He
this is
knows he's got to
all.
finish it.
Yeah, this is all so much bigger now.
Yeah. I think it was and I think
Um,
at the same time, it's like it was way bigger than what he ever thought it would be. I think he thought it
yeah,
was just going to be a quick fix, and it's like, no, this thing is blown up. Especially
yeah,
after standing outside the tent and listening to that speech and seeing how the people were reacting to it. And then later
yeah,
on when he's talking to Ben Younger about it, Younger's telling him that it's like that speech was talked about in like all the major papers around Britain, and it was met with like favorable reception from like every class, from the
yeah,
rich and the poor and the middle. So I think this is in this episode, it's really starting to hit Tommy that this is not looking good.
yeah. Um, Tommy and Lizzie talk for a minute. The only thing I really had from that scene was just that the Lizzie kind of calls Tommy out that like in the beginning, yeah, this was about intelligence, but he realizes that Mosley's got to be stopped. Like that
Right.
this is like what he's doing is horrible and somebody has to stop him.
Right. Yep.
So she kind of calls him out on that. Arthur's with Linda kind of while she's recovering. She said he wants her to leave with him. They want to take Billy and they want to get out of there. Arthur wants that. And Linda doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She says that she's glad excuse me, that she didn't kill him because that would have been a mercy for him. That she wants him to live with the pain in his head and just all the suffering.
Man, that's evil. But
yeah. And then Linda dips out. I couldn't remember if she died or if she had just kind of left, so I don't know. That's definitely a thing about this show. Like if you don't see somebody die, most of the time they come back around in some
come
way,
back.
shape, or form. So
Yeah, that's true.
um,
Which makes me think Sabini's still out there, man.
maybe.
They haven't said anything about him dying, and then he was mentioned in the last episode, or not the last episode, the last season. So I don't know.
On the last season, they just mentioned him because didn't he say he was? Tommy said he was coming for him next.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I think it was the deal was they'd already run through the not the Jews, the Italians, and then he told Alfie, he was like, they're going to come for me, and then don't think they're going to stop with that. They're going to come for you, and then they're going to wipe everybody out. Somebody though, I think later on in this episode when McCavern is talking to Tommy and they're talking about like their districts or whatever, I think he says something about Mosley liking Italians, which I mean makes sense too from like because he'd already met Mosley, didn't he? Didn't he say something about him in the last episode? So I don't know. I kind of, and I didn't notice that in the previous two times I've seen this episode. So I just noticed it the first time here. And so I kind of put that in the back of my mind just in case there, because I know at the same time, like I said, Sabini's still out there as far as we know. So I didn't know maybe if he would have anything to do with that in the end, but going into next season at least. I just feel like, just kind of a side note real quick, I just feel like this next season is like gonna have everybody and anybody that like we've probably ever seen before, because I feel like everything's kind of coming to a head for Tommy, and all of his demons and enemies or whatever are going to be coming out, you know.
Yeah, no, I can see that, especially with it being the last season.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, it made me wonder if we'll see Linda again after this.
Yeah.
So Younger goes to meet with Tommy at one of his offices, and he's saying that he's kind of what you were saying, you know, earlier about how Mosley's message was pretty well received. Younger knows that half of I can't remember exactly how he said it. It was like half the people, you know, have some reason to also align themselves with him. And then the other half had spent their life like fighting socialism. It was basically like none of his superiors were going to be they're just not super interested in this.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying now. I didn't know who you were talking about. You're talking about his younger superiors in the intelligence. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but yeah, he's basically saying that it's like they, you know, again, it's like Tommy, his main thing was supposed to gather intelligence on like Jesse Eden and all those people that are rallying in communism in Britain.
Yes.
And he even calls them out and says it's dried up. You know, it's like you're not even reporting on that anymore. You know, and like you said, it's like my superior officers don't care about this stuff that you're trying to feed me now. You know, and he gets to the point where he's saying it's like I'm getting threats, and I'm, you know, with like my life and my job. And this is where he brings up, I don't know if you noticed, but he brought up the name Section D.
Yes.
Who was giving threats on his life. And this part though is what I was talking about earlier, because it's kind of important, because he says, you know, Section G, I know you've heard of them, Tommy, but they're giving threats against my life. And Tommy's just flat out tells him, he's like, yeah, I know who they are, and I beat them. And it's like, oh, you should not have said that, dude, because obviously you didn't. And I don't think he did. He just killed the priest. That's all he did. You know, the priest wasn't Section D. I mean, the Section D was way bigger than the priest, you know, and they're still out there. And, you know, I mean, that was 2 seasons ago, you know, so I just kind of caught that. And I was like, oh, I feel like that's going to be super important, man, for this next season. So.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, we talked, you know, early on when we first had Section D, like 2 seasons ago or whatever, about how they just kind of fade away into nothing. Like, wait, these are supposed to be like the most powerful guys in the country. Like, what? You know, it made sense that they were able to get out before because they made deals with people who were more powerful, you know? So there was at least like some logic there, but they never were like, and those more powerful people killed everybody in Section D. You know, it's like they just kind of faded to the back.
Faded. Yep.
So yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed, yeah. My note for that section was Younger, the Resistance, Section D.
Yep.
Yeah, but Tommy gets Younger to take the intel and the evidence,
which was the check signed by Mosley.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was that some kind of like mine on the side of his car?
A mine on the side of his car?
Well,
Not
I
that I
noticed like
noticed.
that kid's like kicking the soccer ball at his car,
Mhm.
and then I didn't know if that like caused the bomb to go off or
No. It's the bomb was connected to the ignition.
oh, I didn't
Because
notice he
later
was trying to
on,
start the car.
yeah, because he gets startled by the kid kicking the ball. He looks at him, and then right as he gets kind of set and he pushes the button and it blows up. Because later on in a scene when Tommy gets into his car, he's about to push the button to start the engine, and he's kind of freaking out because he's thinking the same thing that happened to what's his name, to Younger.
Yeah. I guess I knew all that part and like I knew why he was scared and everything, but I guess I don't know, I guess I just didn't notice that Younger like was about to start his car. He was just
Yeah,
sitting there like reading through that stuff, so I just didn't notice that he was kind of like moving on.
yeah, he was about to move
Okay.
on. He was reading it, and then he got kind of shaken out of that state of like zoning in on that um, evidence by the kid kicking the ball at the car.
Yeah.
That's when he kind of settled in, you know,
Yeah, I
started
thought
going. Then
something about him
boom.
kicking the ball into the car did it eventually.
Yeah. No, I think it's just a kind of a, I don't know. I don't know what you would call it. Kid kicking a ball. It's a
Okay.
distraction.
Yeah. So Younger dies in the car bomb. I did not realize was starting this episode that Younger died by the end of it. So I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit. And the car's like
Yeah.
on fire the whole time. So I was like, yeah, there's no chance he's alive,
No.
Like by the time they finally like kind of reconcile it by showing you the driver's seat, like, it's just kind of like, yeah, I knew he was dead. Like he was dead immediately.
I don't think you had to reassure me of that. He is dead.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that kid that was kicking the ball is dead too.
Yeah. Yeah. The other two survived, but
Yeah.
that one boy died. Peter.
Peter,
Yeah, Peter.
nickel eater.
So Tommy goes to Ada to tell her. And yeah, he just wants her to know because she's pregnant with his kid.
Which I
And
had
so yeah, it's
that
just kind of a
I'd forgotten that she didn't tell him.
yeah. I forgot she was pregnant.
Oh, I forgot she was Ada.
Who was that?
I forgot she was even in the show.
When Tommy leaves Ada's, we get confirmation he's still taking the opium.
Mm-hmm.
So God knows what's real.
It's just true.
Yeah, but like you were saying, he takes some and then sees Grace sitting in the back seat as he's about to start the ignition.
Push the button.
Yeah, says push the button and come home to me. And yeah, he does. He tries. He's like, yeah, let's go for it, and starts up the car, and nothing happens.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. After that, we've got the opium deal that's supposed to take place between Chang and the Blinders. But whenever they get there, it's Arthur, Aberama, Isaiah,
Curly and
Curly and Charlie.
Charlie.
When they get there, there's nobody around, and when they do find Chang, he is wounded. And it turns out another group. I love how they just like keep like this season. They just keep bringing in like random people and gangs that like you've never heard from, but they're like, we're gonna involve them now. Like they're not gonna be a big deal, but we're gonna involve them now.
No, they've already talked about the Titanic boys before.
Have they?
Yeah, it was earlier this season. They talked
No,
about
well, it
them.
was this
Now,
season then.
yeah, they didn't say a whole lot about them, but yeah, they brought their name up before. I think when they were talking
Okay.
about, I think when they were talking about McCavern, because I feel like those two gangs may have been kind of rivals in Glasgow.
An Irish gang and a Scottish gang in Glasgow, in Scotland.
I don't know. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, they were. I forgot the Titanic boys were Irish. Well, I don't know because I just remember
Yeah,
later
they're
on he
from
says
Poplar.
yeah, I just remember later on he tells McCavern to like deal with them. I was thinking that maybe they had some dealings before with them, but I can't remember. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm sure they don't like each other.
Knowledge. I watched the episode. I swear.
And then Arthur just kind of goes full mental.
He brought his
He, I
daddy with him.
imagine, probably kills a couple, but the rest of them get away. And they do the deal with Chang. How much is it? 7 tons?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, 7 tons of the purest opium in Europe.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. So they're gonna bring it back. And I guess that's what they're selling to Jimmy McCavin, or at least a portion of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they get back, Arthur's just on one. Yeah, like you were saying, he's calling that machine gun he has his
my
dad.
I like it when McCavern's like, "Your dad?" He's like, "This is my dad."
Yeah. He's fucking crazy. Yeah, and he tells oh, I guess I got a little ahead of myself. I guess they hadn't delivered the opium yet. They go through that scene of it's little boy Peter's funeral. I skipped over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a funeral procession for him, and so Tommy goes there. And then Tommy goes to see Barney, like another character that we've like never seen, that all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, this is a guy who knows all of us that we've never talked about. So Barney was, I guess, a sniper in their company in the war. But yeah, that part where he mentions everybody from the company and only he, Arthur, and Jeremiah are alive.
Yeah. Freddy's dead, John's dead, and Danny's dead.
Yeah, Danny's dead.
Yeah.
So Barney is a friend of theirs, so I guess also probably, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know why he wound up there.
I don't think they ever really said.
And
but
that
I mean,
insane
he
asylum.
just yeah. I mean, I would say he was kind of down the same road that Danny was going. You know.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely
Yeah.
shell shocked.
Yeah, to the point where like he would get violent.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Tommy goes to see him, and I think I think it partially is a test, you know. But he's also like got a way out. So he comes in there with the cyanide capsule, and is going to give it to him if he wants it, let him put himself out of his misery. But if he doesn't, I think Tommy has already planned to pull him out of there, if he doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something he says just kind of sparks a chord with Tommy. It was, Tommy asked him why he didn't want to die, why he didn't want to end it. And he said, because something could change, It's the possibility, death is final and life is at least possibility.
Yeah.
But Tommy tells him that they're going to break him out of there. Yeah, they're going to break him out of there on the next Wednesday. And I just liked how Barney said that he doesn't keep track of the days, and Tommy was like, well, you'll know it's Wednesday because there'll be a really loud bang.
Big Bang Wednesday. Big Bang Wednesday.
Yeah. So then we get just another one of those. This season loves the montages of like Tommy in the House of Commons, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's him giving his speeches in the office, and then we get the opium delivery. And then the entire time, Arthur's just kind of chomping at the bit to get to Jimmy McCavern.
Notice too that Aberama got off early because they said if he saw Jimmy, he'd kill him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be anywhere near him. I liked how, and I don't know why, like he knows that the answer is going to be no, but I like how he puts forward Alfie Solomons as
the potential
the guy
Southern
running
leader.
the South. Yeah. Like, why did you think? And he was going to be like, yeah, okay. Like you heard that speech about how much Mosley doesn't like the Jews,
Right. Well, and he says two things: is like one, he's dead, and then two, he's Jewish, and it'd be easier to get to pick him if he was, based off the first one. I don't know. That's not how he said it, but basically saying he was like, yeah, we're not doing it because he's Jew.
Yeah. Yeah, and then once Jimmy gets out of there, Tommy explains to Arthur what's about to happen. Arthur kind of already knows what's going on, but Tommy just lays it out for him. The Barney is going to assassinate Mosley while he and Tommy are both on stage together. Probably some kind of rally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that they're gonna be done with this.
Well, and then Arthur can kill Jimmy or Amarama can, or whoever, and Tommy will take over as lead of the party and basically dissolve it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always so simply put. He said it's going to be a busy few weeks.
Strap on your boots.
Yeah, and since apparently Mosley's not dead, I can't imagine that this goes well for them in the next episode.
Oh, it's going to go great. I can't wait, man. Cannot wait. This next episode is a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Oh, show.
Well, if you're skipping around in the episodes, make sure you're all caught up with this. We've got that new season coming April 1st. Hopefully, the more I say it out loud, the more it sounds like a joke. So we'll see if that actually happens.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week with season 5, episode 6. Until then, just make sure you go over and follow us on Red Right Hand PO1 on Twitter. You can follow my personal, should be down at the bottom, at Joshua Lynn Gary. You can find us over on Twitch at GhostLad676 and over on YouTube if you're not already watching this video right now on YouTube. You can go over there. It's the Red Right Hand podcast at Is Survived by Productions. Got anything else? Any other announcements? Any other we're gonna have some dead weeks here. What do you got planned for us? The in-betweens are
know.
yours. I just sit back and watch.
We'll just have to figure some stuff out. Yep.
Hopefully we'll have we should have one more trailer, shouldn't we?
There may be another one out already, actually. I think actually there may be a Netflix trailer I thought I saw. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up.
We'll have to check it out. As quick as one of those and the next trailer comes out, we'll have another reaction video up for it. So
yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about what we think about this next season too and everything. So
yeah, after next week we'll have a lot of conspiracy theories to discuss.
Do you know next week will be our 30th episode?
We're gonna put on our tinfoil hats for our 30th episode.
30th spectacular.
The 30th episode spectacular extravaganza
fundraiser. Telethon.
Make sure you give us a like and a follow on all those guys to help us keep doing this through the last season of this show, and hopefully on into the movie when that comes out. All right. Well, until next week, we'll see you.
We'll see ya. Oh, geez. Here we go again. Run, Sassy, run.
Can you guys fight in another room? America, anything in.